Tyreek Hill made a pretty big claim recently. He said he is ready to be the next Calvin Johnson, or not quite that, but the next receiver to get close to 2,000 yards. And he actually thinks he will get it. Calvin Johnson came about 40 yards short when he got in 2012. Tyreek Hill says he will get it this year. Now, he's not predicting for the future. He's predicting for 2023. He will get it because he has faith in his offense. He mentioned Tua. He mentioned the other receivers. He mentioned this is his second year in the system, so he knows a little more. Jake, how realistic is this that Tyreek Hill could get 2,000 yards?
He also predicted that the Dolphins were going to win the Super Bowl this year.
True.
So that's definitely something to think about. Um, I think when you look at Tyreek Hill's explosiveness, I think it's possible. I think 2,000 yards is possible. Do I think he's going to get it? Probably not, but I think it's possible.
I'm going to say very unlikely, but it is possible, like Jake has said. But to answer the question, I'm going to say very unlikely. I think Tyreek Hill last year, he got 1,700 yards with the Dolphins. Now, you got just to go on the case for why he could get it first. Like I said, he got that amount. He was a little less than 300 yards short, but you have to consider with the Dolphins last year that they had guys like Skylar Thompson starting. They had Teddy Bridgewater starting. They did not have Tua all the way through. So on
Right.
that front, you have to consider it, but I do think it's unlikely due to the fact that it's unlikely that Tua is going to play 17 full games. And
Yeah.
even if he does, I think in terms of yards and in terms of racking up yards, I'm not saying who was the better quarterback, but in terms of racking up yards, Matthew Stafford was a better with Calvin Johnson was a better quarterback to rack up yards than Tua is with Tyreek Hill. Yes, Tua is super accurate, but that has nothing to do with amassing. 2,000 is a ton of yards. That's like
It
what
is.
that's like half of a season for a quarterback. That is a ton of yards to get. So you have to take that into consideration. I think Stafford was a little better at getting those yards. Hill came close last year. Like I said, 1,700. But I also don't think Tyreek Hill must think he's going to get force fed the ball. To an extent, I think that is, but you got guys like Jalen Waddle you can't ignore. You got a very talented, at least offensive side of the Miami Dolphins team that I think is going to make it a little difficult. And even in Kansas City, you remember Tyreek Hill didn't have super high yardage amount because they had to spread the ball so much with Kelsey and all these guys. I think I'm not going to say it's impossible, especially with the season he had last year, but I'm going to say it's pretty unlikely due to Tua's health, Tua's our ability to rack up yardage in general, and Tyreek Hill is going to have to share the ball a little bit. So that's what I would say. But what else would need to happen though, Jake? What else do you think would need to happen to get him to this position to where he could get 2,000 yards? If you think it's unlikely or possible.
I think the main thing is Tua needs to stay healthy and throw him the ball for 17 games straight. I think that's the main thing that needs to happen. Um, yeah, that's the main thing that needs to happen. What do you think?
So I think yeah, but I just don't see Tua force feeding him like that. I don't. I think the
Yeah,
Dolphins they want to go to the playoffs. They want to win games. They played a pretty good playoff game last year against Buffalo. They think they're in this to win this, and a lot of people do think they're in this to win this. Obviously, Buffalo is going to be a challenge in that division, but a lot of people think the Dolphins are poised for a deep playoff run. So what Tyreek Hill is saying is when they're going to the Super Bowl, that's not that far fetched. What I will say to that though is that Tyreek Hill, if he's going to meet this they're going to spread the ball, I think, regardless. So I think he's just going to have crazy yards after catch numbers. It's just going to have to be because you think about someone like Megatron, it's not easy to bring down a 6'5", beast like that. Tyreek Hill is not 6'5", but what Tyreek Hill does have for him is his speed. So if
speed.
he out
Yeah,
if he outruns everybody, like I remember. I know defense, but I remember when Deion Sanders was playing. The myth was that if he got beaten coverage, he was so fast he could catch up to the guy. Tyreek Hill has to be if he gets jammed at the line, he could still beat him for a touchdown. So it's going to have to, I think he's going to have to produce some insane yards after catch numbers if he's going to get this.